The next speaker is Sanzida Mojib Luna, and she will introduce communication and collaboration amongst DHH, which is staff and hard of hearing people in a co-located, collaborated multiplayer AR environment. And Sanzida is a second-year PhD student in computer and information science and worked as a graduate research assistant at the Niantic and RAT GeoGames and Media Research Lab. And she specialized in the fields of human-computer interaction with a focus on accessibility. And her goal is to empower the mixed-ability community by exploring how they can effectively collaborate and cooperate in the shared augmented reality environments. Let's welcome Sanzida.
Thank you, Wei, for introducing me. And hello, everyone. I'm Sanzida. And let's get started. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, hello again. This is my work on communication and collaboration among DHS people in a co-located collaborative multiplayer AR environment. So this is a poster that has been accepted in the assets, that is ACM SIG Access conference on computer and accessibility this year. So I am one of the co-author and the first author, and I have like 3 more co-authors with me. So, okay, so what is a co-located collaborative multiplayer AR environment? So this is a AR environment that is situated in one singular physical environment with virtual objects and with multiple users who have the same shared view of the virtual object, who can communicate with each other and with the object in real time. So they have the similar view and the similar power to manipulate the virtual objects synchronously. So this is actually one of the this synchronous collaboration is one of the main research interest in AR technology for quite some time. And the existing researches only talks about, mostly talks about the accuracy of the system, the design, the implementation, the communication of the users with the system. But there are few researches that talks about what are the communication and collaboration aspects of users in this kind of environment, and the number of researchers are even lower when they talk about what these linguistic minority groups such as deaf and hard of hearing or DHS people. So if we look at some of the prior works, we have one stream of research that is collaborative, co-located, and shared AR, where they use where they have a shared AR environment, and they talk about what are the aspects of this environment, what can this shared environment facilitate among the users, is it enjoyable for them, is the communication could this environment facilitate communication and collaboration among the players. And it has been proven that this is very useful. This kind of environment, this co-located, collaborative, shared AR environment, is very useful in facilitating not only verbal communication, but also non-verbal communication, such as hand gestures or body language or some other kind of various cues, such as visual, oral, and physical cues that users use to communicate among themselves. And then we have another stream of work that is DHS users and AR. Mostly AR is used for facilitating facilitating an accessible environment for the DHS users, such as, for example, researchers have used text-to-speech synthesizer or automatic speech recognition with AR, or they have used neural network or deep learning with AR, so that they can they can capture the speaker's voice and can produce a closed caption in the augmented reality for the DHS users. Or there have been researches like avatar interpreter, which is for DHS students in a in like class context, in a class environment where where the AR avatar captures what the instructor is saying, and it interprets it into Chinese sign languages for the DHS student. So what we have here is, like, as I already said, two domains of studies. One domain is called collaborative, collocated and shared AR, that does not have like almost there is none that has DHS participants. And other domain of study only talks about what are the systems design, implementation, or like accuracy of the system. And but it does not explore the aspects of like how DHS users communicate among themselves in a collocated shared environment. So this actually affects our understanding of DHS users communication and collaboration in these kinds of environment. We have very limited knowledge in this criteria. Like for instance, if this kind of environment are equally enjoyable for them, can this actually facilitate communication and collaboration among them? What are the challenges they face in this kind of environment, and what is the design implications, on what are the recommendations they want to have in this kind of environment? So keeping that in mind, we as our initial step to addressing this research gap, we conducted our study. So this is actually our work. We recruited 17 DHS participants with varying levels of hearing ability. We have to keep in mind that some of they preferred various. They had like different primary communication modes, such as some of them some of them were comfortable with spoken language, but some of them were not. They actually were very compatible with sign language. Some of them preferred written language. So so these were our the overall demographic of our participants. And for the probe, we used codename Urban Legend. This is an unpublished game and from Niantic, and our lab's collaboration with Niantic actually assisted us to use this game for our research. So as you can see, as this is an unpublished game, I have added quite some user interfaces that that can be found in the game, and I would like to describe them. And for the first one, this if you open the game, you can see these two roles, that is support and offense. You have each player has to pick one of the role, and the first one has to be the first player, and then the game, one session of the game can have 6 players at most. The first player picks a space to place the Yeti, that is the AR anchor of the game. Like you can say it is a digital marker of the game. And then after placing the Yeti, the first player has to confirm the placement, and then the other players has to scan around the entire space so that they can have the Yeti on their screen. And as soon as all the players get the Yeti on their screen, the game starts automatically. And the last two interfaces are one player playing as a support and one player playing as a offense. So and this game one session of the game lasts for 240 seconds at most. And if you don't defeat all the enemies and like free your this shackled Yeti within the time, the game is over and you lose. But if you can do it in time, you win the game. You and all of your partner win the game. So so this was actually our research design. It was divided in 2 phases, that was collecting data and analyzing the data. The data collection phase consisted of 2 major segments: user study and semi-structure interview. And in the data analysis phase, we just analyzed the data. So the user study, before we recruited the participants, we distributed a questionnaire before recruiting the participants, and where we wanted to have our demographic insights, such as we wanted to have participants who were either deaf or hard of hearing. And so we asked questions like, what is the do you identify yourself as deaf or hard of hearing? What is your primary preferred communication mode? How compatible are you with AR? Have you played AR game before? Questions like that. And then comes the actual gameplay. For 17 participants that we recruited were divided into 7 groups. They played 5 rounds of game each. And for the first 2 rounds, they played in a private space that was in a lab setting with few pieces of furnitures. And the last 3 rounds, they played in a public setting, which was a like hall room area. And after they finished the gameplay, they were asked to join a semi-structured interview with us, like one-on-one semi-structured interview, where they the interview was initially designed based on the AR environment, that is the game Urban Legend. But after we had plenty of scopes to improvise the questionnaire according to the participants or their lived experience. So the gameplay actually was important for the participants because they get a lived experience from that, and we get to observe them play the game, where we get the observational data. And the semi-structured interviews were the main source of our qualitative data. So we collect all the data, like observational, qualitative, and quantitative data that we gathered from the questionnaire that we distributed before we recruited the participants, and we gather it all together. We conducted reflexive thematic analysis, mostly semantic and latent analysis on the data, and we came up with couple of themes, but as this is a poster, a short paper, so we will only be focusing on 2 of the prominent themes that we got from the analysis, and those are multimodal communication among players and relationship between communication and collaboration. So multimodal, so what are these 2? So the first one is we saw that co-located collaborative AR environment could foster social interaction among DHS people who had who did not have common way of communicating with each other, common method of communicating with each other. For example, the game did not have any in-game communication system, like any text box or any other any other communication system, and the game was co-located. So here player played with each other in a co-located space where they could talk or maybe communicate with each other in any other way. So we divided the entire communication aspects in 2 different segments, which were before the game and during the game. So before the game, they had a discussion. Before each round, they had a discussion time where they chose the role, who will take which role, and which strategy they will follow. So in that time, they took as much time as they needed, and as they were not in the game then, so they could use apps like text, speech to text apps, so or use any other communication system, maybe talking, spoken language, or maybe any body language or hand gesture or anything. They could use whatever they like before the game. So interestingly, we saw that people who preferred using sign language were very concerned about if other player knew how to use sign language. And whenever they saw that they were not very much compatible with sign language, they would switch to any different type of communication. Like for deaf players who use the sign language exclusively, they would switch back to this speech to text app. They would listen to like what others are saying through the app, and they would share their thoughts or what they think about the game through texting, and showed it to like other players. They used that. But in during the game, as the game was very short, short session game and very fast paced, so they did not have this this option to opt out from the game, because there was an like there was this if you like shut down the game for once, you won't be able to continue the session. There was this stigma, so they did not want to shut the game. Rather, they used like hand gesture or body language, something like that, which were not sign language, because they already knew that other players may not be may not be comfortable with it or may not understand it. So the effect of this nonverbal communication, which is like hand gesture and body language, was tremendously like positive. They were using they improvised what a gesture meant, and they used it throughout all the rounds. During the first few rounds, they were just like experimenting, and like when they understood like what other players are saying through a gesture or through their body language, they just went with it. And they were like, this solidarity that they shared with each other during the game was like noticeable. And then comes the relationship between communication and collaboration. And that is like players say that the collaboration aspect of this game was the best thing. And communication actually dictated the amount of collaboration. And by this, what I mean is we divided this collaboration aspects into two phrases as well. That is before the game and during the game. Before the game, they communicated a lot. They need to like decide what roles they're taking, which strategies they will follow. So they communicated a lot. But during the game, they would communicate during the game for the first 2 or 3 rounds, but after that, like for the last 1 or 2 rounds, they would just play alone and not collaborate much with other. And when we ask about like why did this happen, they say that they got used to the game dynamics. They knew what to do in the game, so they did not need much help from other, and did not feel the need of collaborating with other. And that is why they did not communicate it much during the game. For like 4th or 5th round, during the 4th or 5th round, and the collaboration did not happen in there. So it is we concluded that the communication aspects played a very big role in dictating the amount of collaboration. And some limitations of this work, I would say that the participants we recruited were all college students. They were very accustomed with air technology. Almost a majority of the participants use spoken language, and they were eager to communicate with each other. But our findings and result could vary if they were not compatible with AR technologies, or a majority of the participants would exclusively use sign language. Then these results could vary, and this is like one of the limitation of this work. And for future work, we would like to conduct studies with different AR environments, and recruit participants from a diverse background, not from various age groups, occupations, compatibility with AR, and And we'll also want to find the environment-specific and general challenges that DHS people face in like this shared AR environment, and want to like recommend design implication for design implication and guides for this kind of environment. So these are the references that I used throughout the slides, and thank you so much for your attention, and I would like to take any question if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanzida. So amazing. And I actually personally have a lot of questions based on that, because I actually am a AR creative technologist, and I use Eighth Wall a lot, and I just and I just saw that you use like Eighth Wall multiplayer game as an example. And to my point is that I wonder that what is the difference if you are researching traditional 2D web game as with the AR games. One feature that I think about is that for AR games we are more likely to use active camera. It's a front camera and back camera. It's like is that the main features that is that the main difference between 2D games and AR games? What do you think?
Yeah, I would say for this game, you have to be co-located, and this is like one of the biggest feature that Niantic also like advertise as that this is one of the game that uses 5G. This is one of the game that uses co-located technology. You have to be in a co-located space where all the devices of the users have the same view. They share the same view, and like if you kill a monster, it gets killed for all of the users. It's not only for you, it's all of the users. So it's I would say it's more like if you play a multiplayer game on your screen, on your laptop or any other device, it brings out the similar kind of like excitement and joy for the AR game. It is like the special aspects of this game. So
Okay, I see. Yeah, I just invite one friend of mine, but I think he didn't join this time. But he's actually creating a player AR game where like 5 or 6 people in the room there, and they are fighting a dragon or something. They have a huge battle, and then if they're like not deaf people, they need to talk to each other to maintain some kind of communication. But yeah, I think that for deaf people, it's definitely the sign language is like way better. But I'm actually like very curious about what's the efficiency if they're using sign language. Is like any delay, or like how many seconds will they understand one sentence, such as that.
okay, so this game, this I would say this is a fairly like easy game where you have like, as I already said, the players say that for the 4th or 5th round they were pretty self-sufficient, and they did not want to like, they did not need any help from others. They would like go through the game through like a breeze, and they just went with the game alone, and they played like a solo game, but they were in a multiplayer setting. So I would say this is a like for the first few rounds where they used gestures, they did not use sign language because all the players were not efficient in sign language. So they use gestures, like they use a hand gesture, which means you have to move, or I will come closer to you. These things they got used to it. They improvised these kinds of like hand gestures or body language as they played along, and as they had this discussion time before each round, they were like pretty much they knew what they were saying through this gesture, and they just used it. They just improvised it from that time. It's not like traditional sign language. It's just something they improvised. So there wasn't any like delay or something, because the gestures were pretty easy to understand, like move, or I'm coming closer to you, or you come closer to me. So these were pretty simple. So I wouldn't say there was any like that much of delay while while like if players were talking or using gesture, there wasn't much delay in like both cases. They were pretty much same.
Thank you so much. Is there like any comments, any more questions? All right. If there's not, thank you, Sanzida, for the amazing presentation. And if
Thank you.
anyone have like any like more questions to ask, I know like some people are still sleeping in the time zone in China. And thank you all for coming. And for other people, you can actually review our whole presentation. They have a recording uploaded in Bilibili or YouTube after that. And if you have questions, you can reach out to Sanzida. I believe she have the email in the previous slides. And thank you so much. We're also highly encouraged for any young designer and scholars to share your work if you would like to participate in us. This is like we're so welcome. And finally, I'll say like Innovations in Digital Design is an online platform to sharing innovative research ideas, design works in the digital design field. And we aim to explore the nature and future of design by showcasing your outstanding works of like young designers, scholars from all over the world. And Innovations in Digital Design webinar operates once per month, offering oral presentations and discussions in English. All recordings are uploaded to YouTube and Bilibili platform and available for free for all. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for having us. Bye.